Hello everyone. It came to my attention that many of you have been asking for a while about the TCG list for Dragunity, and many of you also specifically asked what to replace Baronne and Savage with now that they got banned, which is a valid question, of course. Like many of you seem like struggling to find like replacements for those two cards. So in this video, I'm going to attempt to answer those requests. Like I'm going to show you a deck list that I made that is TCG legal, and that list would be a list that I could play in TCG if I ever decided to play the TCG. Because for those who know me, I don't play TCG and I don't care enough about it to keep up with it, to be honest with you. My knowledge about it is very limited. I just keep up with it in the sense that sometimes I catch a discussion here and there, like on Discord, talking about it. So that's the limitation of my knowledge, basically. So yeah, so I'm not really the best person to ask TCG stuff to, but I'm going to attempt my best to explain my thought process behind making this list in particular, and I'm going to showcase later two combos that you can do with like 4 new extra deck cards that you can use to replace Baronne and Savage with. Okay, keep in mind again, I'm just like a casual Master Duel player that enjoys Yu-Gi-Oh casually through playing Dragunity, so I'm not really knowledgeable about the game as other more competitive people in the TCG or in Master Duel, so keep that in mind. I understand that many of you value my input when it comes to Dragunity, which I'm very grateful for and I'm very thankful for, but when it comes to TCG content, I'm not really the best person for that. Okay, so keep that in mind. But still, I'm going to do my best to try to answer those requests, since many of you have asked for it. So here we go. So this is the list that I came up with after like an hour of research, and I just put it up together like in a few minutes. This is not like a perfect list by any means, but I'm still gonna explain my thought process behind some of the decisions that I made. So let's start by discussing the ratios real quick here. Like the ratios here are not really too important. Like you can play around with the ratios like as you see fit, to be honest. Like I found that this ratio works fine for now. Like I did some test hands and it looked fine for the most part, but this is like Master Duel that we're talking about. Like there are some brick hands, there are some weird hands that you can draw into, but this is not really true randomness. Like I think the hands in TCG might be very different, but either way, like it's all right, I guess. So yeah. By the way, don't worry, I'm gonna also showcase like the side deck that I would play as well. Don't worry about it. So yeah, so let's start by the first thing, which is the non-engine. I think it's a good place to start. So as you guys can see, I'm playing 3 crossout because crossout is at 3 in TCG. And I'm playing like some of the crossout targets like Veiler, Imperm, Ogre, Ash, Bell, and Mourner. Now for the ratios, let me start with Imperm since I'm playing it at 1 here. So if you notice that in all my deck lists on YouTube, I very rarely, if not like never, play Imperm. I really don't like Imperm in Dragunity. Okay, the card is strong, of course, but in Dragunity specifically, I really don't like it for a few reasons. One, the most decks can play through an Imperm, first of all, and I've seen like some of the meta decks in TCG and like Branded, Tempai, Snake Eye, even like Melodious and whatnot. Like I think they can play through an Imperm like very easily. Like I don't value the imperm that much, but I do value the negation. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm playing 3 Veiler. Okay, so the reason why I'm playing only 1 imperm is for the crossout package, and also the reason why I'm not playing more is because going first, it's most likely being discarded. To be honest with you, it's very rare that when I play with like 3 imperm, I keep the imperm in hand to set it after. Like, it's very rare. Usually you're just gonna discard it, and once imperm hits the graveyard, that's it. Like, you're done with it. You're not gonna use it anymore, right? And I hate, like I've said it in the Q&A, I hate using cards that only have 1 use and 1 use only, right? I usually prefer to play cards that I can utilize in many other ways. So yeah, so for going first, it's not really that important. I guess it can be good if you get hand trapped to death, so you just can set it and pass, I guess. But again, most decks can play through imperm anyway, so that is that. And going second, the same story. Like, they can play through imperm, and usually imperm is strong with another hand trap. So if you only have imperm in hand, it's not gonna do anything important, right? Unless your opponent is bricked. So usually imperm is the strongest when it is paired with other hand traps. So yeah, so that's why I only play 1 imperm. Like, I don't like it in Dragunity. However, I play 3 Veiler. I even play 2 Mourner, and there is even an argument to play 3 Mourner. Like, you can like cut 1 Ash for a 3rd Mourner, to be honest. For very similar reasons. Like, Mourner and Veiler seem very strong in TCG, okay? And Veiler specifically in Dragunity is very strong because, 1, it's not dead in your hand, and it's not dead in your graveyard as well. Going first, sure, you cannot use it on your turn, but you can discard it. And unlike imperm, Veiler can still be used in the graveyard because it's a light monster. And because I'm playing the bestial package here, I can always get use of Veiler. Not only that, not only because of the bestials, but also because of branded regained. Banishing Veiler, if I don't need to recycle any other card, I can just recycle Veiler into my deck and draw 1 card. And because I recycled a hand trap, now I have more of a chance to draw the same hand trap again on my opponent's turn with regained. So I can theoretically banish the Veiler to summon my bestials, and then recycle the Veiler with my regained to then draw another card that could be the same Veiler, who knows. Okay, and because I'm playing 3 copies of it, I have a higher chance of drawing it on my opponent's turn as well, which is good because Veiler is good on the opponent's turn. So there is multiple usage of Veiler that I can do that I cannot do with an Emperor. Okay, although like as a card, as a standalone card, I think Imperm is stronger. However, in Dragunity specifically, when you take into consideration the card interactions between like everything, I think Veiler is a little bit better for us, like for Dragunity specifically. So that's my thought process behind the 3 Veiler. The similar thing with Mourner, like Mourner is a wind monster, so even if I draw it first and I don't like get use of it and I discard it, I still can use it as fodder to like summon my Tempest, for example, or like even in hand for going first, I can use Tempest to discard it and then search like Remus. Like there are some use for these cards, and not to mention that Mourner itself can be used with Small World as a bridge to Remus because they only share the wind attribute with each other. So I can use it as the bridge card. If you want to understand and learn how to use Small World, by the way, I have a great video on YouTube that explains everything you need to know about Small World. And trust me, once you are finished watching that video, you will come out of that video understanding everything about the card, and you will never be like intimidated by using this card ever again. Okay, and yes, as you can see, I'm playing Small World. That's how I would play the deck in TCG, at least. Okay, so yeah, So both Veiler and Mourner have similar reasons why I'm playing them, and Mourner specifically can also be played at 3 because I'm playing Small World anyway, so I'm gonna use it. Even if I don't use it as a hand trap, I can use it as a bridge to Remus anyway. So they're not dead in my hand whether going first or second, and they serve multiple purposes. Same thing for Veiler, by the way. I can use Veiler, then bridge into Mourner, then go into Remus, because we don't play Gamma, because unfortunately I discovered that Gamma is at 1 in TCG for some reason, so that's a bummer. But yeah. So that's for Veiler and Mourner. For the other hand traps, they're just here for like cross out, to be honest. Ash, I don't know how strong Ash is, how strong is Ash in the TCG, to be honest. If it is strong, you can play 2 or 3. If it's not, you can play 1 for cross out, and that's it basically. Like, it's not really that important. You notice here I'm playing like non-engine, not necessarily to prevent my opponent from playing the game, but more to enable myself to play the game. And that's my mentality with Dragunity. Like, I try to enable myself. Even by playing 3 Veiler, it's not really to disrupt the opponent, it's to just both at the same time disrupt the opponent going second, because you still need like a going second option in case you lose the dice roll. But also it's still valuable going first, because you can just discard it and use it from the graveyard, right? Same thing for Veiler. Same thing for Ogre. Like, it's a cross-out target, yes, because it's a little bit annoying. Like, Ogre and Bell specifically can be annoying because they can interrupt the combo in many places. That's why you at least want a 1 copy in the deck as a cross-out target, so you would be sure to get the combo going. Same thing for Nibiru. Like, Nibiru is there as 1, not because I'm playing Max C, because I'm not. Obviously, I'm playing TCG in this situation, but the 1 copy there is still for cross-out designator. So yeah, so these are mostly cross-out targets, and specifically Ogre and Bell and Nibiru are the most important targets for cross-out, because they can stop the combos in weird ways. So you want to have something to stop them. That's why 3 cross-out are there. I would love to play Called by the Grave, but I find with cross-out designator being at 3, I think it's enough as a protection basically from those cards, because 1, cross-out only negates the effect of the banished card on your turn, so you can still use the same card you negated on your turn on the opponent's turn, something that you cannot do with Called By. And 2, Called By is at 1 in TCG, and I don't really want to play a one-off card that is non-searchable, and it's only useful if you draw it. Again, I come back to the idea of using cards that only work in one situation. So, although Called By is strong when you draw it, I'm not really gonna rely on luck, like on the luck of the draw, especially with how unlucky I am in general. I'm not gonna really rely on that, basically. So I'm just gonna rely on my 3 cross-out, which I have a higher chance of drawing. And not only that, I still can use the card. Like, if I cross out a Veiler, I can still use Veiler on their turn, like next turn. So yeah. Also, there is like some neat things that you can do with cross out. Like, you can banish a light or a dark from your deck while Regained is on the field to actually try to draw an extra card. Maybe you're bricked, or maybe your hand is not great, so you try to fish for 1 card. Like, there are some neat tricks that you can do with it. So I think just 3 cross out is fine with these ratios. Okay, so besides that, do I have anything else to say about the non-engine? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of Impairment in Dragunity. Veiler at 3 is really good. Mourner at 2 or at 3 is very good in Dragunity. Multiple usages, like whether as a hand trap or as a resource to use for other cards like the Bestials and Small World. Ash is Ash. Like Ash is always good. Like you can play any ratios of Ash and you would still be fine. And one Bell and one Ogre and one Nibiru for the crossout package, because those cards are a little bit annoying for us. I would love to play, like if for example, if you notice that in the tournament you're playing at or your locals or whatever, you are facing like draw a lot, for example, you can include one draw in the main deck here, because I include it in the side deck in case like I play against someone who's playing draw. I don't think it warrants playing in the main deck, because I don't think most people would play draw right now, so that's why it's not here. Same thing for like another card that I will talk about when I talk about the side deck, basically. So yeah, so that's it for the non-engine. That's the reason behind those ratios. For the engine cards, you notice that it's very similar to the engine that I use in Master Duel. The only real difference is that I'm playing 3 Phalanx, 3 Senatus, and 2 Legatus. These ratios are there mostly for like consistency. I find like I think in TCG specifically, because there is no Max C, I have a higher chance of actually resolving Senatus. Because the problem with Senatus in Master Duel is that if you get Max C, you don't really do anything with it. And with how many hand traps people play in Master Duel, like you only need one Senatus or none of it, like in Master Duel. But in TCG, I think you might get away with 3 Senatus and just play 3 Phalanx and 2 Legatus to increase your chance of drawing a Dragunity card with Senatus. So 3 Senatus, 3 Phalanx is very good, and 3 specifically because I don't want to just draw Phalanx plus Senatus and then discard the 1 Phalanx and equip the 2nd Phalanx from the deck and have no Phalanx left in the deck. I don't like that. I always want to have a Phalanx left in the deck for follow-up, because there are some follow-up plays that you can use the Phalanx in the deck with. That's why I put in the third copy. So, and Phalanx is Phalanx, like it's a level 2 tuner that can special summon itself from the spin and trap zone. Like it's not like a bad idea anyway. Like 1, 2, or 3, you decide. I think 3 is fine in this list, to be honest, because I wanted it to be at like 50. So and I wanted the monster ratios to be like 35 and 15, like spells and traps. So I think it's fine, like with 3 Senatus specifically. If you're playing less than 3 Senatus, then 2 Phalanxes are fine. But since I'm playing 3 Senatus, I wanted to increase my chances of drawing these 2 cards together, alongside maybe Remus. So, yeah. Other than that, like the standard 2 Legatus, 1 for the combo, 1 for maybe the follow-up or for extension. 1 Gizarme. There is an argument for a 2nd Gizarme, to be honest, because you can draw like Gizarme. If you draw Gizarme with like a combo starter, it's really good. Like it guarantees Crystal Wing on 5. But I find that if I play 2 Gizarme like with some test hands, sometimes you just draw Gizarme with Legatus and it's a little bit weird to play. So just 1 is fine, I guess. The same ratios of Bestials, like 1 of each and 2 Lubellian. I discovered also that Tempest is at 1 in TCG for some reason. I thought they got semi-limited. I thought it was at 2, but no, that's in the OCG actually. So that's a bummer. I would have loved to play like 2 or 3 Tempest, but what can I do? What else? Armagram. You guys know me. I love Armagram. It's always gonna be in my deck list no matter what. So you bet your ass I'm gonna play Armagram even in the TCG. I don't give a shit whether it's good or not. I just love the card, so I'm playing it. Foolish Burial. So the reason behind Foolish Burial is that basically you can send some monsters from your deck in many situations to extend. Sometimes, say for example, you have Foolish Burial, Senatus, and a Dragunity card in your hand, right? So you activate Senatus on the field, you get Impermed, right? So you just discarded, for example, Phalanx or like, I don't know, like Armagram or whatever, and you got Impermed. If you have Foolish, you can simply just Foolish the Remus directly from the deck and continue playing, right? Another thing that you can do is just Foolish one of the other 2 resources that we usually access. Samsara or Phalanx, especially Samsara. Sometimes some hands don't let you access Samsara because you got disrupted, like you got hand trapped or whatever. So if with Foolish Barrier, you can simply just send the Samsara, especially if you cannot send it with Ravine. Sometimes you don't have access to Ravine, and this basically replaces Ravine when you want to send a dragon from the deck to the graveyard. Another card that you can send is Zephyros, Ringo Worm, Tempest, even Armagram, even to extend. You can even send Lubellion, Saronir. Like you have so many targets that you can send to the graveyard directly. So if you can't access Ravine or Remus, or if you get interrupted in your combos, or if you cannot like start your combo in the way that you like, that Foolish Burial can help you out. Like I've tested it in Master Duel and it worked fine, but it doesn't work as well in Master Duel because I have to make space for the Maxi package. So that's why I don't play it that much. But without Maxi, you have ways, other cards that you can play in the TCG. And that's the good thing about the TCG, is that you have many starters for Dragunity that you can play that we don't have in the Master Duel, basically. So yeah. So this can actually help you extend or play through Disruption in many ways. You just need to know that you can. That's all. Gold Sark because we're playing Tempest. And honestly, there is an argument to cut Gold Sark, to be honest. Especially with Tempest at 1. But I'm so used to playing with it. I'm just going to stick to what I know. So I'm just going to keep it. But I can see an argument for cutting this out in favor for something like, I don't know, like maybe Terraforming. You notice that I'm not playing Terraforming. The reason why is because it's a little bit redundant, and I think Terraforming is at its best when you're playing 2 or more field spells. If you're playing only 1, having 3 copies or 4 copies, it's not gonna change so much. And again, Terraforming is only useful if you draw it, like it's a one-off. If you don't draw it, you basically, it's as if you don't play it anyway. So yeah. 1 glow, the standard. 3 small word because I'm playing like these ratios of Veiler and Mourner, and I wanted more starters, of course, in this list. And it feels so good to play like this because I don't have to play like the Maxi package. And even the hand traps that I'm using make sense in this list because I can still use them with small ward besides the crossout. So it makes sense. Like in Master Duel, I hate that I need to play the Maxi package because all the cards that I use to deal with Maxi, I don't have any other use for. It's only for Maxi, and that's what triggers me the most in Master Duel. But in TCG, it's a little bit nicer because I can still use hand traps in different ways. So even if I don't use them as hand traps, I can use them in other ways. So yeah. Three small word. So you might be asking why not play the Foolish Burial Goods package, like the Rainbow Bridge package. Well, the reason why is because I'm playing this like 50 card list. Like, believe it or not, this is considered like a small list for me. For me, so it's like the standard. The reason why I'm not playing the Foolish Burial Goods is because I found that Foolish Burial sometimes conflict with some of your hands, especially if you draw both Foolish Burial and the Rainbow Bridge, or Foolish Burial plus the Cobalt Eagle. And sometimes it just breaks your hand, like if you draw 2 of those together, basically. So just to avoid that, I think Small World is better. Not only that, Small World has the advantage of not only searching my Remus, which is the main point, but also searching any non-engine monster that I need. If I have everything I need in hand, I can just use Small World to like search a Veiler, search an Ash, like search any non-engine monster, like non-engine hunter, basically, that I need. So that's the advantage of Small World over something like Foolish Burial Goods. So yeah, that's why I went with Small World, and I'm very comfortable with Small World. Like I don't need like a spreadsheet or anything. I don't need to remember anything because again, like I understand how the works, the card works completely. And again, I advise you to watch that small world guide that I made a long time ago. Like it will help you understand this card, and you will never get intimidated by it ever again. Trust me. So yeah, let's continue. Synchro Rumble, of course, because I'm playing Crimson Dragon. 3 Ravine, of course, Branded Regained, 3 Crossout, and 1 Emperor. You notice I don't play Beast, even though I always play it in Master Duel. It's very simple. Beast is very situational, and you don't always need it. I always include it in Master Duel because it's a best of 1 format. But in best of 3 with siding, you can just side it out and you include it whenever you think you're gonna need it, because Beast is good in certain situations, especially like against back row decks, against decks that rely on one specific card or something that or decks that want to go second. So you can just prepare Beast in advance so that when they try to do any like bullshit, you can just answer with Beast. So yeah, so Beast is not necessary in your main deck when you have siding. That's the point, basically. So yeah, so that's the list in general. For the extra deck, you notice that it's relatively the same as the one that I play in Master Duel, because again, like I don't know too much about TCG, so I'm just gonna stick to what I know. And you notice there are 2 new cards here, which are Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon and Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Cheng Ying. So Crystal Clearwing and Cheng Ying can be played in Dragunity as substitute to Savage and Baronne. In the combo, what would substitute Savage would be Crystal Clearwing. Like literally, you summon it almost at the same place in the combo where you would summon Savage with Crimson Dragon, basically. Instead, like in the combo, you will see later when I show you. Usually in the combo, we like target a level 8 Synchro to summon the Savage. Now we just target a level 10 Synchro, which is usually the Dispatcher, to summon the Crystal Clearwing. Cheng Ying is replacing Baronne in the combo because I play the quick Synchro setup with Stardust. So instead of summoning an unaffected Baronne on the opponent's turn, I just summon a Cheng Ying. Cheng Ying can also be replaced with another card that is Satellite Warrior. So there is this option as well if you want to play the quick Synchro setup like I do. So either Cheng Ying or Satellite Warrior can be the replacement. Of course, they serve different purposes, but it is still a general purpose of a disruption that is summoned on the opponent's turn and you make it unaffected. That's the point. So you can just use those. If you don't want to play the quick Synchro setup, and if you don't want to play like Gorm, because I'm playing Gorm here, because I think Gorm might be fine in this meta, with all the meta decks that rely on the graveyard. It might be good. I don't know. Again, I'm not really knowledgeable in TCG. But if you don't want to play Gorm, or if you don't want to play Cheng Ying, or if you don't want to play like the quick Synchro setup, another card that you can play is Ancient Pixie Dragon. Like you can play the Ancient Pixie Dragon alongside Archfiend Abyss. Let me check. So this one. So you can play both these 2 cards instead of 2 other cards. Like you can take out the Cheng Ying and take out the Stardust. So there is no reason to play the quick Synchro setup if you're not going to summon on the opponent's turn, right? So you can play something like this, for example, right? Or you can just cut one of the Ascaron or Arid Bear if you want as well. So why these 2 cards? Because there is a combo with these 2 cards. Like you can use this card, draw 1 card off of its effect, and then use it to Synchro into Archfiend Abyss, because it's a Dark Dragon Synchro. So you can use it to summon Archfiend Abyss. And I will show you the combo later as well. Like I said, I'm going to show you 2 combos. Those are the 2 combos. The combos that uses Crystal Clearwing, like very standard combo, like to end on like the exact same board as the one in Master Duel, except instead of Savage, you have Crystal Clearwing. That's it. And the second combo utilizes Ancient Pixie Dragon to go into Archfiend Abyss if you want like that semi Omni Negate, basically. Okay, so yeah, so that's it for the deck list. Now it's time to move to the combo, and I'm gonna showcase both combos. And it's gonna go by really quick because the combos are exactly the same as the ones I use in Master Duel, except they are a little bit different at the end of the combo. That's all. Okay, and that's the beauty of this deck because it is very consistent at doing what it does, and when there is like some new stuff coming out or like a new like replacements like this, you don't really need to unlearn everything. No, you can still use your knowledge, but you just adapt and use your newly acquired cards in different ways at the end of the combo, basically. So yeah, so let's hop into the combos and let me show you what you can do with this deck list, basically. Before we go into the combo real quick, I forgot that I didn't talk about the side deck because I just realized that after recording that previous section, so we're just gonna talk about it here real quick. So there is nothing really to talk about. I have two siding patterns that I would consider. The first siding pattern is about hand traps and back row hate. So basically I would just put in like draw, like one copy of draw for crossout if I ever face someone who's playing draw. The third copy of Ash if I face someone where Ash is good. Same thing for Mourner, like the third copy just in case I need it. One Shifter if I'm playing against a Shifter deck, of course. Two Nibiru to complement the one that I have in the main deck for going second. Harpies and two Lightning Storm for the back row hate alongside a triple Evenly Matched. I think Evenly Matched is really good against some of the meta decks, and we really don't care about OTK in our opponent because our end board is an OTK in itself. I'm not in a hurry to just finish the game. There is no max C basically, so I'm not in a hurry to finish the game basically. The two extra copies of Imperm. So you heard me say that I don't really like Imperm in Dragunity. However, if you face someone who's playing Triple Tactics Talent, for example, you might want to consider just removing two Veiler and putting in the two extra copies of Imperm. So now you have three Imperm and one Veiler, and that could help you play around the talents. So if you're facing someone who's playing talents, you might just want to switch up the ratios of Veiler and Imperm, just to play around that. And of course Beast, because I am a believer that Beast is a good card, but I think it's better in the side deck in TCG. In Master Duel I always play it because it's a best of one, but in TCG I think you can side it and use it at your discretion. So this is the first pattern, basically very standard, very basic, like nothing too crazy. The second pattern of siding is, what is it? The board breaker pattern. So if maybe the format is not very friendly to hand traps, what I would do is just go with this type of side decking basically. So we're still playing the Harpies and the two Lightning Storm for back row hate, but now I'm just gonna play like some board breaking stuff like the Herald of the Abyss, triple Dark Lure No More, because I've seen like some of the meta decks don't really have like Omni negates or like Spell and Trap negates that are reliable, so you can just use Dark Lure No More basically. Like I put 3 in the side just to maximize my chances of drawing it, plus 3 thrusts. I think that's reasonable. Because we play in Thrust, we just play 1 copy of Tactics and 1 copy of Evenly Matched if we ever need to support the back row hate as well. And triple Cosmic, just in case you're facing people like with cringe floodgates like Anti-Spell Fragrance and Skill Drain and whatnot. So you can play triple Cosmic Cyclone to also support your back row hate. So yeah, this is more of a board breaking approach for the siding. So that's what I would do basically, either this pattern or the other one. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the side deck. So now let's just go into the combos. So first I'm going to showcase the very standard combo, and which is gonna end on basically Crystal Clearwing and a setup to summon Changing on the opponent's turn. So I'm just gonna go through the motions of the combo. Again, ignore everything in the hand except Remus. So basically Remus plus whatever cards you have in hand, basically. So this is a Remus plus 2 discard combo. It's exactly the same as the combo that you guys know in Master Duel, except it's just gonna change a little bit at the end. That's it. So I'm just gonna go through the motions of the combo as I keep talking. So I just wanna thank you guys for your support and like for the appreciations that you guys show towards my content and towards my opinion as well, because I know that you guys know that I'm a casual player, but you still value my opinion when it comes to Dragunity, so I'm very thankful for that. I'm very grateful, so thank you very much. And if you're new here, if you are new and you're not subscribed yet, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button to get notified whenever I upload a new video on YouTube. Okay, and I hope you enjoy the content that you're watching right now as well. So yeah, so this is just a standard combo, basically Remus plus 2 discards. I'm just gonna try to do it as fast as possible because I'm sure like most of you are already sick of it. You've seen this combo so many times in my videos. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go through the motions. Ignore the cards, like I know I have extenders, I know I could have just gone into Crystal Wing and whatnot, but let's just go with the flow of the combo basically. So yeah. Get Guiderg and the usual. Am I the only one who never gets old, like never gets tired of this combo? Like I've done this combo like for like more than 2 years now, and I never get sick of it. Okay, Atom. Make sure to detach Guiderg here. Summon the Red Eyes. Red MD is gonna summon back the Guiderg. Guiderg is going to get Phalanx. The usual. We're going to search his army. So this is basically what you would do if you didn't open a way to summon Crystal Wing on 5. You can just summon it at this point in the combo. Now we're going to seal with Gizarmi and Atom. Get Mistletoe. Going to tribute over Seal. Going to summon Seifert. And now we are going to access our Bestial Engine. Going into Lewin. Get Phalanx. Going to summon Saronir. Banish whatever, like I can banish this, doesn't matter. Going to Crimson Dragon. So here, this is where the combo is a little bit different, just a little bit. So here, after we resolve this chain, I usually, like if you've seen my video, I can just chain Crimson Dragon again target Crystal Wing to summon Savage, because Crystal Wing is a level 8, right? But we're not playing Savage, we're playing Crystal Clear Wing. So we're just gonna skip this step, and we're going to just wait one more step, just one more step. So now we're just going to access our Lubellion. Get Magnamot. Now we summon Lubellion. So we're just waiting on Crimson Dragon here until we summon this Patter. So now we can just summon this Patter. And at this point we can use Crimson Dragon targeting this Patter because it's a level 10. And we can summon our Crystal Clearwing. Now we have a spell and trap negate that negates both card activations and card effects. So, and what's nice about this card is that it makes itself immune to the activated effects of your opponent's monster effects whenever they activate a monster effect, right? So once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can activate this effect until the end of the turn. This face-up card is unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's monsters, not all cards, just unaffected by the effects of your opponent's monsters. Also, this card gains attack equal to that opponent's monster's original attack. And of course, this is the negation once per turn when a spell and trap card or effect is activated. Quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And this card has a bonus effect that really works well with Dragunity, which is if this synchro summoned card, like it needs to be synchro summoned, so if this synchro summoned card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, that means either it goes to the graveyard by battle or a card effect, you can add one wind monster from your deck to your hand. So even when it leaves the field by an opponent's card, we can still search any wind monster in our deck, and of course we're playing Dragunity, so all our monsters are wind. So that's a nice effect. So yeah, so this is where Savage would be basically. So we lost an Omni negate, but we still have access to a spell and trap negate as well. And let's be honest, Savage and Baronne, although they are Omni negates, they were usually used to negate spells and traps most of the time anyway. Right, so it's not like we lost that much anyway. So yeah, so now we just continue the combo as normal. So we activate Magnamot, banish the seal if you want to recycle the seal. Going to recycle here. That it depends on what you want to chain block. Here I'm just chain blocking the recycle of the seal because I want to recycle it, and we draw. Oh, there you go. We draw Valor. Nice. And the combo like finishes as like always. Like right here, like if you play a second seal, for example, or if you didn't have like seal recycled or something, you can go into seal. But what I like to do, again, you guys know me. I just want to summon Lewin and go into Gorm. This is my preferred combo. But you can do whatever combo you want, of course, like depending on how you want to customize your end board. So yeah, so Gorm, equip Lewin, equip Phalanx, summon Phalanx, and we're going to go into Axel Synchro. And even if you don't play the quick synchro setup, right here you can just summon Arid Bear if you want, right? Like with the Axel Synchro, like you can just use these two to summon Arid Bear if you want. But I play the quick synchro setup, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So this is the very standard combo. You see, like it's the exact same field, except we have Crystal Clearwing instead of Savage. So it's not that different. Now end phase, basically we're going to resolve Magnamut, we're gonna add Druid Swarm, and we're going to pass turn. Like I'm playing against the solo mode, like Gladiator Beast, like the 5-star duel. So here we can use this or this. So here what we can do, like basically, I'm just gonna show the actual resolution of the combo, basically. So yeah, if I want to go into Cheng Ying now, I can do that now. So yeah, so Cheng Ying, you can summon it in attack. You're not afraid of anything. It's unaffected by everything. So yeah, and we can trigger Cheng Ying by so many ways. Like we can trigger Cheng Ying with our Bestial. We can trigger it with Gorm when it banishes cards from the graveyard. We can even trigger it by its own effect, because although Cheng Ying now is unaffected by all cards' activated effects because of Axial Synchro, it can still attempt to protect itself from destruction, basically, even though it's unaffected. Like you are allowed to activate its effect, even though it's already unaffected, right? Because your opponent still can attempt to destroy it, right? So you can just use its own effect to banish a card to protect itself and thus activate its own effect. So yeah, so you can use chaining effect by many ways, and because we play Regained as well, we can even use that effect to draw a card as well. So yeah, so that's the combo basically. Like this is the standard combo that I would go for. You see, like the deck is not that different. We lost Savage and Baronne. We replaced it with Crystal Clearwing and Cheng Ying, or you can play like Satellite Warrior or whatever. Like, yeah. So that's the first standard combo that utilizes Crystal Clearwing and Cheng Ying. Now, I'm going to showcase the other combo with Ancient Pixie Dragon and Archfiend Abyss. Now, in this combo, we're going to utilize Ancient Pixie Dragon, which then is going to help us go into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. So in comparison to the other combo, this combo requires a little bit of specificity. What do I mean by that? There are certain things that you need to know beforehand, otherwise you might mess up the combo. So for this combo to work, you need one thing. You need to hold on to your second Ravine discard. Okay, so you don't use your second Ravine discard to search Gizarme for this combo, because you need it to send Ringo Worm to the graveyard, unless you have other ways to send Ringo Worm to the graveyard. Okay, certain hands just have so much gas that you don't need to do that. But if your hand does not have like enough gas to do that, just keep that in mind. Okay, so usually in a standard combo with this with these two cards in the extra deck, you need a way anyway to send Ringo Worm to the graveyard, and you're going to see why. Okay, so I'm going to showcase this combos just started from Ravine, not even Remus. Okay, so this is going to need an extra discard than usual. So let's start with the combo and ignore the Lobelian and the Mistletoe in hand. We're just gonna again just keep in mind the Ravine plus for the 4 cards. But in this case, I'm going to consider the Gizarme in hand just to showcase how you can utilize it to still end on Crystal Wing, even though you didn't start the combo with it. So yeah, let's start by Ravine. We're going to add Remus. I'm going to discard Lobelian here. Again, just ignore the Lobelian. We're going to access the second one later. So we're going to add Remus here, okay? Now activate Remus and activate the second Ravine to search Legatus. Okay, so this is the start of the combo. Again, it's usually Remus plus 1 discard, but because we started with Ravine, it's Ravine plus 2 discard. And now we're going to go into the combo normally. And we need to get back the Ravine in hand, okay? Unless you have another Ravine. So we're going to Guidurg, and with the Guidurg, we're going to search Zephyros. We need Zephyros here. Usually in a standard combo you can access Ring Worm now, but we don't want to banish Ring Worm now just yet. So we're going to access the Zephyros to get back the Ravine, because that's our only way to access Ring Worm and send it to the graveyard for now. Ramirez is going to search Claw. Claw is gonna search Mistletoe, usually search it from the deck, but it's okay. And we're going to summon back the Guiderg. And we're going to access some Sora Dragon. Red MD, summon back Guiderg. And Guiderg accesses Phalanx. So here, because we started with Gizarmi, we can just normal Gizarmi here and do the same play as before. Summon the Phalanx, go into Crystal Wing. The important part is that Ravine is back in our hand here. Now we're going to get back Mistletoe. So same thing. The combo is the same until we reach Crimson Dragon, basically. Summon the Phalanx, activate Seifert. Now we're going to access our Bestial package. Go into Luin. Get back the Phalanx. And here we summon Saronir, banishing the Zephyros. We're going into Crimson Dragon. And we're going to activate Saronir. Again, ignore the Lubellion that we had at the start. So we're gonna send Lubellion. Get the Synchro Rumble. And now we're going to activate Seifert to get back our Lubellion. Activate Lubellion to get Magnamot. Summon the Lubellion. And place regained. Go into this pattern. So as you can see, like it's the same until this point. Activate Crimson Dragon, target the Dispatter, set up Crystal Clearwing. Now the combo is going to differ a little bit, just a little bit. So here we're going to summon Magnamot, targeting the seal because we want to recycle the seal. We're going to chain block the recycle of the seal. Nice, we drew into Mourner. This is what happens when you thin out your deck from all your engine. Now you have higher chance of drawing your hand traps. We're going to add summon back the Samsara like usual. Except now, before we activate Synchro Rumble, we're going to go into Seal. Oops, not using Samsara, using Magnamut. So we're going to seal. The reason for that is because we're playing this like extra deck here. So we're not playing the quick synchro setup, basically. So, or you can still play the quick synchro setup, but it just, you need to you need to play it in other ways, basically, not this way. But this way basically allows you to go into Ancient Pixie Dragon. So now we can activate Synchro Rumble, get the Lewin, and here usually we use these two to go into Gorm, but since I'm not playing I'm not attempting to go into Gorm here, I'm attempting to go into Ancient Pixie Dragon. We're going to summon that instead. So now that you summoned Ancient Pixie Dragon, you can activate Ravine. Now you activate Ravine. And this will trigger Ancient Pixie Dragon immediately. Because Ancient Pixie Dragon says, after resolving a field spell card that was activated during your turn, draw one card. This is a mandatory effect. This is not optional. This is mandatory. So once you activate your field spell, if it activated correctly, like the activation was not negated, immediately you will draw one card. This is a mandatory effect. It's mandatory chain link 1 if there is another chain, like, okay? So now you're just going to draw an extra card. So now we drew with Regained, and now we drew also with Ancient Pixie Dragon. So Ancient Pixie Dragon has a second effect, like, what does it say? Like, it's not important really. Like, once per turn you can target one face-up attack position monster on the field, destroy that target. There must be a face-up field spell. Okay. So that's a neat bonus effect that you might be able to use, like going second maybe, but that's not the relevant effect. Like, the relevant effect is the draw effect that you get when you activate Ravine again. And we're going to activate Ravine again anyway here, because we're going to send a dragon from the deck to the graveyard. So here we can discard one card and send Ringo Worm to the graveyard. And this is the reason why we want Ringo Worm in the graveyard, is because we want to use its effect to summon another tuner, which then will allow us to go into Archfiend Abyss. That's the whole reason. If we use it before, we don't have a way to summon it back from the banishment, because as you saw, we needed to use this pattern to summon back the Samsara Dragon. So that's why you want to hold on to your second discard with Ravine to send the Ringo Worm to the graveyard. Or if you don't want to do that, you need to have another way in your hand to send, either in your hand or in your field, to send Ringo Worm to the graveyard. You saw there that we drew a Foolish Burial with Ancient Pixie, so we could have just avoided using Ravine again and instead activated Foolish Burial, but instead I just wanted to show you the standard way of doing this, no matter what you draw, basically. So yeah, so this is the other combo. So because we had Gizarmi in hand, we were able to also end on Crystal Wing, and we have now a Monster Negate, and a semi-Omni Negate. We have a Spell and Trap Negate. We have a Monster Bounce that we can use, and we have this pattern in the graveyard ready to be revived with Regained as well. And by the end of this turn, we have 3 cards in hand because we started with Ravine. If we started with Remus, we would have 4 cards in our hand. So now we have Drew Swarm plus 2 unknown cards, and again it should be 3 unknown cards, but because we started with Ravine, we had to use an extra discard. So yeah, so we have here 2 unknown cards, in this case 2 hand traps, Drew Swarm. We have 4 negates because the 4th one is this pattern in the graveyard, plus a Monster Bounce. We have Regain to draw us another card on the opponent's turn. So yeah, so this is another way that you can end on, using Ancient Pixie Dragon and Archfiend Abyss, if you want another Omni Negate basically on the field. So yeah, so this Omni Negate only works on face-up cards on the field, of course, but still, it's an Omni-Negate nonetheless. So yeah. The advantage of this combo basically is the extra draw that you get from Pixie Dragon, and the security of the Omni-Negate that Archfiend Abyss can provide if you want to, basically. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. So those are the two combos I wanted to show you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was like also entertaining to some degree. So yeah, I hope this answered all your questions and your requests. I hope that my list was a little bit helpful. Like, I know it's not perfect, but this is, you asked me about a TCG list, so I provided you with one that I would play if I ever wanted to play in TCG, basically. So yeah, and these two combos can maybe help you make your own decisions on how to build your deck and how to build your own end board. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it very helpful and useful. If not, if you have another question, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.